Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate's embassies in brotherly and friendly countries continue the 48th glorious National Day celebration. The UN Yemen envoy is to visit battleground port city of Hodeidah ahead of the peace talks. And the North and South Koreas reconnect a road across the military demarcation line inside the demilitarized zone. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Sultanate's embassies in brotherly and friendly countries continue celebrations of the glorious National Day. In Lebanon, the Sultanate's embassy held the reception ceremony on this glorious occasion. His Excellency Badr bin Mohammed bin Badr al-Mandari, Sultanate's ambassador to Lebanon, led the welcoming party. It was attended by a number of senior officials and personalities, in addition to members of the diplomatic corps, as well as government officials, political leaderships, businessmen, mediamen, and intellectuals. In Turkey, a ceremony was held at the Sultanate's embassy on the occasion of the 48th National Day. His Excellency Dr. Qasim bin Mohammed al-Salhi, the Sultanate's ambassador to Turkey, received the senior officials, diplomats, and other personalities who congratulated the Sultanate of Oman, its leadership, and people on the occasion, wishing Oman further progress and prosperity under the leadership of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos. Meanwhile, the Sultanate's embassy in Netherlands held a reception ceremony on this glorious occasion, where it was attended by a number of political personalities, representative of government bodies in Netherlands, as well as their excellencies, ambassadors, and heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations. During the ceremony, Sheikh Adnan bin Amir al-Shamfari, chargé d'affaires of the Sultanate's embassy in Netherlands, welcomed the guests. It included various activities and visual presentations on the achievement of the blessed Renaissance. The Sultanate's embassy in Japan held a reception ceremony on the occasion of the 48th glorious National Day. The reception was attended by a number of Japanese personalities, former ministers, parliament members, and Japanese defense commanders. It came to stress on the good relations between both countries in various fields, and speeches were also delivered to stress on the Sultanate's role in bringing peace and stability to the Middle East region. While in Philippines, His Excellency Mundir bin Mahfouz al-Mandari, Sultanate's ambassador to the Philippines, held a reception ceremony attended by members of the diplomatic corps from friendly countries, businessmen, and media people. The ceremony included visual shows on the Sultanate's accomplishments and development, as well as photos exhibition. In Uzbekistan, a ceremony was held at the Sultanate's embassy on the occasion of the 48th National Day. It was attended by the senior officials, diplomats, and other personalities who congratulated the Sultanate of Oman, its leadership and people on this occasion, wishing Oman further progress and prosperity under the leadership of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos. His Excellency Sheikh Jama bin Hamdan Al Malik Al Shahi, the Sultanate's ambassador accredited to Sri Lanka, held a reception ceremony on the occasion of the 48th Glorious National Day. The event was attended by a number of senior Sri Lankan officials, heads of Arab and foreign diplomatic missions, military attached, representatives of international organizations accredited to Sri Lanka, and a number of businessmen, journalists, media men, and public figures. The Consulate General of the Sultanate in Singapore celebrated the 48th Glorious National Day. His Excellency Zakaria bin Hamad Al Saadi, the Consul General of the Sultanate in Singapore, held a reception ceremony on this great occasion. It was attended by representatives from the Singapore government, a number of Singapore businessmen, academics, representatives of media men in Singapore, and Omani community in Singapore. Minister Plenipotentiary Jassim bin Eid Al Saadi, the charge d'affaires of the Sultanate's embassy in Ethiopia, held a reception ceremony in the capital Addis Ababa on the occasion of the 48th Glorious National Day. The Ethiopian government was represented by His Excellency Gantra Apai, Minister of City Development and Construction, with the presence of Their Excellencies, Head of Diplomatic Missions accredited to Addis Ababa, and a number of senior officials, businessmen, and media men. The attendees expressed their happiness to participate in the celebration of this great occasion, wishing the Sultanate's leadership and people further progress and prosperity. His Excellency Mubarak bin Salim Al-Zakwani, the Sultanate's ambassador to South Africa, held a reception ceremony on the occasion of the 48th National Day. His Excellency Professor Anil Sukolal, Director General of Department of International Relations and Cooperation at the Asia and Middle East Desk, attended the ceremony as the guest of honor. The reception was also attended by foreign and Arab ambassadors in South Africa, as well as distinguished businessmen and academics. During the ceremony, the guests received tourism booklets and watched a documentary video clip on Oman attractions. Still to come on News Bulletin. The Arab Scout Training Program in Al Masana discusses practical applications in management of remote training programs. A UN source said today that the United Nations envoy to Yemen will visit the rebel-held battleground port city of Hodeidah this week, as he presses warning parties to uphold pledges to join peace talks. Martin Griffiths, who arrived in the rebel-held capital Sana'a yesterday, was in the country to lay the groundwork for next month's negotiations in Sweden. The British diplomat's visit to Hodeidah tomorrow is aimed at encouraging the Houthi rebels and government forces back to stay calm ahead of the talks in Stockholm. UN agencies say up to 40 million Yemenis would be at risk of starvation if fighting closes the port of Hodeidah, through which nearly all of the country's imports and aids passes. The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that the United States had told its ally, South Korea, that it should not improve ties with North Korea faster than Pyongyang takes steps to give up its nuclear weapons. In a rare sign of discord between Seoul and Washington last month, South Korean Foreign Minister Kang Kyung, who said Pompeo had expressed discontent at the inter-Korean military pact reached during a summit in September. The two Koreas reconnected a road across the military demarcation line inside the demilitarized zone DMZ today in joint efforts to exhume remains of soldiers killed during the Korea War. The two Koreas have been removing mines in the DMZ to make it safe before a joint project to exhume more remains. The 3-kilometer-long tactical road was established in a site that the two parties have designated for the project, as it was a notorious battle site of the war. It is the first road connection in 14 years since the West Coast Cross-Border Road in 2003 and the second one in the East Coast in 2004. It's part of a military agreement signed by both sides after the third inter-Korean summit in Pyongyang in October. European Council President Donald Tusk said today that the European Union and Britain have agreed a draft declaration on their future relations after Brexit, a development that paves the way for the European Union summit this weekend to rubber stamp the deal. The 26-page draft declaration was agreed upon at a technical level by negotiations and endorsed today by the European Commission, which is overseeing Brexit negotiations. Tusk, who chairs meetings of the European Union leaders, said he was sent to the draft political declaration to Britain's 27 European partners and that it will require the endorsement of the leaders. European Union heads of state and government are due to meet in Brussels on Sunday to approve the declaration and separate divorce deal. British Prime Minister Theresa May is set to return to Brussels on Saturday for more talks on the eve of the summit, including with the Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. Back to some local news. In a move that aims at promoting for economic growth and encourage business owners to become more forward, more than 80 small and medium-sized enterprises participated in the first Sohar Economic Festival. The 4-day festival, which is organized by Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry branch at the Governorate of South Al Batina, attracted a huge audience who came to support national and homemade products. Omani entrepreneurs and SME owners called for maintaining such festivals on annual terms, as they are considered an opportunity for them to showcase and market their products and services. The 5-day Arab Scout training program in His Majesty Sultan Scout Camp in Al-Masana discussed practical applications in management of remote training programs through video conferencing for Scout trainers at the governorate level. 50 participants from Oman and other Arab countries joined the training programs to deliberate and discuss practical issues concerning management of Scout camps and drafting and setting future goals, self-development and organizing festivals and exhibitions. Participants at the training program expressed that such joint programs helps at bolstering ties among Scout members in Arab countries. The Scout visited many attractions in the Sultanate of Oman as part of their training program, such as Royal Opera House, Muscat Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque and Nazwa Fort. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorates with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the governorates of South Sharqiya, Wusta, and Buraimi and Dhahira. Winds will be north to northwesterly, light to moderate. Seas will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate's embassies in brotherly and friendly countries continue the 48th glorious National Day celebrations. The UN Yemen envoy is to visit battleground port city of Hodeidah ahead of the peace talks. And the North and South Koreas reconnect a road across the military demarcation line inside the demilitarized zone. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, thank you for watching and have a great night.